You were never intimidating. You were uncontrollable. That's been the problem. They said you were intimidating, but that word is not accurate. When you are intimidating someone, intimidation implies threat. If you are sitting in a room doing nothing and not acting, it shouldn't feel threatening. That's where we need to make this distinction. What they feel is a loss of leverage. They cannot leverage things in your world, and it threatens their comfort. You can't be steered by shame, by changing your standards, by weakening some of the expectations that you have for yourself, by cowering back, watering shit down, playing nice, playing politeness. People only label what they can't negotiate. And from the start, you are not here to negotiate down yourself. When someone says that you're intimidating, it's rarely about any fear that you're trying to invoke. It's about what they feel like they can do to leverage their power in your world. People feel safe when they feel like they can predict you. People feel safe when they can predict how you're going to react, what you're going to say, what you're going to do, how you're going to adjust, what you're going to ask help for, whatever it is. It's movement. It's movement. And that unpredictability is mistaken as a threat. So don't let people decide that you are intimidating just because they've said so. Let them think it. Let them have it. Let them. Like Mel Robbins. Let them. But know that it's a bigger part of social conditioning, especially for women. Women are always taught to regulate the room, to make everybody comfortable. We got to give the warm fuzzies out. Everybody's got to be copacetic. But does that grow us? Does that grow them? Warmth, being warm, cozy, cuddly, warmth is rewarded in this world more than clarity about your energetic. People don't want to change. People would rather be comfortable than change. It's human nature. But just because we're making people comfortable doesn't mean that we're doing a service. We're helping each other. We're lifting each other up. Being compliant with what everyone else wants you to do sometimes will be met with, "Oh, you're not nice." Kindness should never be confused with compliance. Kindness, I'm going to say it again, kindness should not be confused with compliance. Just because it's the same way that people say, "Oh," they're explaining a point and you don't agree. And then they say, "Oh, well, you're not listening." No, I'm actively listening. I just don't agree. Choosing to disagree is not an unkind act. Sit with it. When you stop managing other people's reactions and emotions, you will start violating their expectations of what they want you to do. And that resistance, that earthquake, that emotional uncertainty gets labeled as intimidating right off the rip, immediately. So what's actually being threatened? Your boundaries. What's actually being threatened? Silence. What's actually being threatened? Self-trust, autonomy. When you have real boundaries, they limit access. And that limited access doesn't leave room for negotiation. It's I said what I said. And then that silence following what was said removes additional energetic towards a negotiation. You trusting yourself to advocate for yourself, to stand up for yourself, to show up authentically, your self-trust blocks out everyone else's influence. Understand that you creating healthy boundaries, you letting silence serve, you allowing the trust of yourself to show is not aggression that should intimidate. It is autonomy. It is sovereignty. Let's look at the behavioral evidence. Take a look around. Notice who is calling you intimidating. Notice. Let me tell you, people who are intimidated are usually insecure. It's very rare that someone who knows themselves and owns their confidence will go out of their way and say, yeah, you're intimidating. Not with physical threat, but with a sound mind. The people that are intimidated by you and what you do are the people who are benefiting from you being old you, from you being available, from you just having time for their shit. That loss of time, that loss of feeling like they can just show up, that loss of access can feel like a threat to someone who feels entitled to you. Think about it. And since they can't find a way in to the circle, it becomes you're intimidating, you're a threat, you're a bitch, no one likes you. And then it becomes character assassination instead of let me figure out what I need to feel safe here. They're not in a space to ask that question. So don't be in a space to provide them to sort that shit out with you. There's more to our life than what we do for others. And one of the biggest services we can do is commit to the service of our highest good, of our happiness, of our sacredness, of our joy, of our true north, of our purpose, of our calling. So let that be enough. So now we know that we are no longer explaining ourselves. And the moment you stop explaining your moves, your motivations, your actions, what you plan to do next, the moment you stop laying shit out for people, the accusations will be coming in. Wildfire, quick fire. That's how you know you're actually shifting. Control and people's control over you has a tendency to disguise itself as concern. I'm just looking out for you. I'm just trying to be realistic. All of that is disguised as concern until it no longer lands with you. So let them keep their word. Intimidating, scary. And know that someone saying that you're intimidating is never an insult when you put yourself first, when you choose yourself. That word is not an insult. Start to hear it as their confession.